Sometimes in life, you need somebody to lead you by the hand. And guess what? The boys are just those people. We're going to tell you who you should start, who you should bench, and who you should cut. These are tough decisions that Kirby Smart has to make, but we're going to make them for him today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. He, of course, is Clint. I am Daniel. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for tuning in. Loyal 199 third segment listeners, we are happy that you are here. Today's episode brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege for more info on them. We'll talk about them more in a moment. Point of clarification, Kirby does not have to make these decisions, thankfully. But in this hypothetical realm, we're going to play this game, start, bench, cut, where one guy has got to start and one guy has got to be put on the bench and one guy has got to be cut. You don't have any way around it. And so we're going to make these decisions. We're going to kind of tell you where our priorities are in terms of the Georgia football team. Sometimes we're going to do same position groups. Sometimes we're going to mix it up. We did this last week, had a bunch of fun. Got a lot of great comments, and so we're off and we're doing it again. By the way, thank you to everyone who subscribes to the show on audio, on YouTube. We don't say this a lot, but we really do appreciate it. There's a lot of you. It's weird to us that people watch the show and listen to the show, but we are honored and we enjoy having you along for the ride. So if you haven't done it already, you can go ahead and subscribe. We got a fun off season planned, and football starts in August this year, Clint. It's not, we don't have to wait till September. Labor Day weekend. See, it starts in August this year. And so
here's what we're trying to say. Like, it's June right now. And again, this is the worst season.
Okay.
All right. So June right now.
Yeah.
So let's just say June's over, right?
Well, it's just soon to be over. We're basically halfway through.
We're basically halfway. All right.
Then you round up. It's July 1.
It's July 1. Okay. So it's July 1. All of a sudden, you just have 1 month.
What happens next month?
And then the month after July, which is basically here, you just have to get to 1 month, and then football.
Football's happening.
Oh, my word.
I'm not talking about NFL preseason football. I'm talking about real football. Real football. All right. So we got a fun off season. Happy to have you along with us. All right, Clint.
Yeah.
Tee us up for our first start, bench, cut. Give us 3 names. Let us know in the comments what your order would be, and I'm going to try to answer for the people.
Here we go. We're going to, again, simple process. I'm going to give 3 names. Daniel has to decide start, bench, or cut. Some of these names I'm going to go to begin with, Daniel, are not going to be position grouped. They're going to be newcomers to the program.
Mix and match. I like this.
We're going all over the place.
I like it a lot.
Right. So you can't, last episode, we were talking about the new commit that Kirby got. We likened him to Brock Bowers, and it was a little confusing because all of a sudden people were like, well, he's a linebacker, not a tight end. And we try to say the tape is just explosive and it's exciting. So try to go Tom Crean positionless here. Get in the mindset of a psychotic person really quick. I know how to trigger Daniel in a heartbeat.
Thunder and lightning. I'm going to go thunder and lightning on this. Start bench cut.
I will fight you in a Chili's if you say thunder and lightning.
He has and will. We'll do it again.
Do it again, but not a Vanderbilt fan. Okay, so Daniel, I will give you these 3 names of newcomers to the program, and you have to start, bench, and cut.
I'm ready.
First name.
Yes.
I'm going to go out of the gate. Is Xavier McLeod. Defensive line. Transfer. Yeah, new to the program, transferred in South Carolina.
I see. Okay. I don't hate it. All right, let's go.
Number 2.
Okay.
Jaden Rashada, quarterback of fame already.
Oh, now we're getting things are getting squirrely now. Okay.
Things are getting very weird very quickly.
Okay.
And then lastly, on the list.
I'm praying right now for what type of name I'm gonna get right here.
I'm not gonna do you totally dirty. I'm not gonna
go on with it.
Okay. Well, okay. Trevor,
just whatever you wanted it.
Trevor Etienne.
Okay, thank you. See, that helps me a lot. It helps me a lot because Well, I was sitting here thinking to myself, I cannot live in a world in which Xavier McLeod or Jaden Rashada start on this year's football team. I would be miserable if either of those things happened. Okay. Well, because we have the number one quarterback in America,
in the nation.
And so if I start Jaden Rashada, Carson Beck ain't got nothing to do but sit over there and hold a clipboard. And that's not what I'm about, because I'm trying to win a national championship this year.
Well, we already did. Truth be told, I forgot. We already did Trevor Etienne last week, Daniel. So it's an erroneous addition. So I'm going to.
You're taking this away from me now.
Taking this away. London Humphreys.
You see what the man does? Do you see what the man does now? Like, this is just dirty business. It's dirty. The business is dirty. Okay.
Yeah. London Humphreys.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with my same line of thinking. I'm going to start with who starts, because to me, that's the most difficult decision. Jane Rashada, there's nothing you could say that would make me start this kid, because again, we have the number one quarterback in America on the roster. I cannot sacrifice that position for a kid like Jane Rashada this season.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to cut it. I don't want to cut him either, but we're going to get back to that.
Okay.
If I have to choose between starting Xavier McLeod or London Humphrey, neither of which are going to start on this team.
No.
Period. Like, neither of them should even approach starting on this team. Georgia's got so much returning talent on the defensive line. Georgia's got so much returning talent in the wide receiver position. These guys are they're very similar in terms of where they place themselves on the depth chart. I'm going to start London Humphreys because I think it's easier to rotate in wide receivers. Who starts at wide receiver means almost nothing. I could start London Humphreys and I could run it off tackle right every single game, and then I'm just right back into my rotation.
So this is Mike Bobo you're talking about. Mike Bobo is just doing that all day long.
Well, no, he won't run the damn ball. That's right. The problem with it.
That's right.
Or he will, and we hate him for that. It's
way.
One or the other. It's hard to figure it out. So what I'm going to do then, it leaves me, if I'm starting London Humphreys, which is a weird thing to say. If I'm starting London Humphreys, I think I'm going to bench Jaden Rashada and I'm going to cut Xavier McLeod only because of this. I think Georgia could withstand the loss of depth more at the interior defensive line position. I know you can't ever have too many bodies, but I don't like a world in which there's no competition at quarterback. And next year, if Jaden Rashad's not here, all respect in the world to Ryan Puglisi, all respect in the world, but there is no competition at quarterback next year if Jaden Rashad's not here. I need somebody to be pushing Gunnar Stockton. I need the best man to rise to that. And so I'm going to keep Jaden Rashada right where he belongs on the bench this year, battling it out in practice, getting all those reps with the aforementioned Mike Bobo. And sadly, I'm going to have to let Xavier McLeod go. And that's hard for me to say because I think Xavier McLeod's going to contribute to this team this year, Clint.
You're really excited about that. That was one of your top transfers.
Yes, I like him. And I think he's going to contribute to this team because I think Georgia is going to rotate. Trey Scott, I think, is going to rotate 7-8 guys on the defensive line.
That's how talented we are on the defensive line.
Absolutely. And so I hate to let him go, but I'm going to have to let him go. Do you hate what I went with there, or how do you feel?
No, it's absolutely, you have to have it because I am not ready. And all of you Georgia fans, please, again, the standard line is you want to start whoever Kirby wants to start and Bobo wants to start. Right. You cannot go in with Gunnar Stockton. You cannot tell me right now Gunnar Stockton's your dude no matter what, ride or die.
They can, and they have, and they will continue to.
And we will continue saying, stop.
Please
stop it right now. Quarterback is where you want the most competition, the most competency, rising to the top. I don't hate what you did. Defensive line depth is something I'm nervous about. I don't think the ceiling is as high for defensive line, so I want more guys in there, so that hurts, but I think you're absolutely right. There's no way you can start one of those guys this year and anticipate us being competitive. If London or Xavier were starting for us, if coming out of camp, they were our starters, you and I would have very raised eyebrows, and we'd be wondering what is going on in Athens that those two guys came to the top.
Very
drop off
eyebrows
has happened. We're going to get back to this. Daniel's going to give me 3 names, but first, these. And these are, in fact, LinkedIn. LinkedIn jobs are fantastic. And right now, many businesses are hiring. You want the right role and the right people. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. It has the tools to find the right professionals, your team, faster and for free. It's not just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching a new job. 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking at LinkedIn, what are you doing? You're looking in the wrong place. LinkedIn has 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. That is quick turnaround. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing many hats, might not have the time or resources to hire. It's constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process quicker and easier. 2.5 million small businesses are using LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. It's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Daniel, I gave you 3 names. Now it is your turn to make me sit and sweat. Who are the 3 names I have to start, bench, or cut?
I was going to be nice to you, but then after what you did to me in the first segment, I don't see why I would. I got a real dirty one. I'm going to save it probably for the next episode, though. It's sinister.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 3 names, all play the same position, none of whom are and the 3 names very different in terms of the way that they have contributed to the University of Georgia and the way that they are, I think, perceived by the fan base. But I think similar enough that it's going to be difficult to differentiate between them. And so I'm going to go 3 outside linebackers, and I'm going to give you Chaz Chambliss, name number 1.
Okay.
I'm going to give you Gabe Harris, name number 2, and I'm going to give you Samuel Mpemba, name number 3. You're going to choose one to start this year on this year's team. You're going to choose one to ride the bench on this year's team, and you're going to choose one to transfer to Louisville.
Yeah, bro. Well, I don't wish that upon any of these players. I hope they choose better, but they might have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I were doing this,
Lexington, Kentucky is just raising their hand, saying, like, "We'll take them.
We'll take anybody.
We will take them."
Literally arms wide open. We are the Scott Sapp of college universities. Okay. Look, if I was doing this based solely on last year's rotation, here's how I would do it. It would be Chaz start. It'd be Gabe bench, and it'd be cut Mpemba because we didn't see Mpemba. We have no clue right now. The biggest question mark, we see tape and we see athleticism and size and all that with Mpemba, but we have no idea. We're clueless. That is the biggest question mark in the entire world. Biggest upside probably of this position group.
There you go.
But the floor could be bad. It
high ceiling, low floor.
Okay. All right. Gabe Harris.
Meanwhile, Chaz Chambliss, you could argue the floor and the ceiling might be the same.
They're just like a micro step, right?
My man knows exactly what he's going to get out of that.
I know exactly what I'm going to get.
And that's a positive.
Well, we'll see. We'll just don't try to inception things into my head. Right?
I won't. Okay. I'm gonna sit back and listen.
Gabe Harris, we've seen a little bit. We haven't seen a great length. We've seen enough, and we've seen some flashes. Now, here's what I'll say to that. I think the outside linebacker group is going to be much like the defensive line, if I'm going to be honest. I think Chaz Chambliss is a 1 or 2 down outside linebacker. I think in past situations, homeboy coming off the field in a hurry, which, by the way, Glenn Schumann, thank you for doing so. Just right now. Thank you for
everything you are and do. Thank you for everything.
The farewell tour begins.
We can't say it enough. We can't say it enough.
If our words mean anything to you, please stay. So I think they're going to be another 6-7 deep. If you look at the outside linebacker edge guys, you can got guys like, Jalen Walker, Damon Wilson, Mpemba, aforementioned Harris, Chambliss. I think even some of the younger freshmen, the inside linebackers, I'll say, that we've had in previous recruiting, Cycles could play that outside linebacker edge position very, very well. Michael Williams. So I think we have enough depth. I don't need a sure thing. So I'm going to go right off the bat. I'm cutting Chaz Chambliss. He gone. Okay.
Wow.
I know what I get. And let me tell you, I don't want more of it. I'm sorry. I don't want more of it. He might be our starting outside linebacker. And I am here telling you, I don't want it. That's a little crazy. I'm cutting Chaz. Now, that means I'm benching Mpemba because I ain't starting him week 1 against Clemson.
Lordy. That would be a risk.
I think Mpemba's ceiling is so freakishly high. I am very, very high on him. I'm very high on athleticism. I think in the outside linebacker position, again, it's another place where you can just say, go heat-seeking ball and get after it. Now, will he go upfield 5 yards past where he needs to at times? Yeah, which is why he's not starting. And I'll take Gabe Harris to start because I think I've seen flashes enough. He's been 2 years into the program. I think he's closer to Chaz right now than many of us realize. We're going to see a lot of Gabe Harris this year, is my prediction. And so if I think he's closer to Chaz than anything else, I know what I'm getting, and I don't want that. I don't need depth. I need excitement. I need ceiling. So I'm keeping the two that have the biggest side. I'm saying bye-bye to Chaz. I'm crazy, right, Daniel? I'm the only one making this decision, right?
That's exactly what I would have done. It's exactly what I would have done. I just try to stir the pot. I will say this, stopping the run called, and they're laughing at you right now. Because if you're going to throw Gabe Harris and Sam Mpemba out there to stop the run, and meanwhile you let Chaz Chambliss take a walk, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough scene out there. What he does well, he does well. Okay? And setting an edge is a thing that he does very well. But I'm really high on Gabe Harris, and I think Mpemba's too talented to not make a splash this year. And so I actually think that there's room to let some of these guys, to let the young guys develop. And I think the biggest X factor maybe kind of in the entire thing is Michael Williams, who I think can easily stand up and move to the outside, move to that same position. We slide another bigger body in on the end of the line of scrimmage, and you're able to kind of cover up. So you obviously got Jalen Walker, who can slide in there on pass rush situations. You got Michael Williams now, who can slide it. Both of those guys are out of position, but they're the best two guys at the position. And so I think you're able to let a guy like Chaz walk, which is crazy because, again, Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann are going to choose to start him. And, oh, by the way, they know a lot more about football than we do. So
this just in,
we're
all very happy that Daniel and I are not coaching at UGA.
We're dumb, they're smart, but that's what I would have done as well. All right, we got more start bench cut coming up right after these.
Daniel, summertime means baseball, the NBA Finals, and much more, and you can bet it all on FanDuel right now.
I wouldn't bet at all. I'd save some for college football season, but you can bet a lot.
I'm sorry, you can bet on all.
You can bet on all of it.
Yes,
it's important that we clarify for the people.
Punctuation, enunciation, and emphasis.
Because college football futures are out there. Like
we're gonna have episodes upon episodes.
For sure, the NBA Finals, whatever that is, bet on that. That's fine. FanDuel, great place to go. Also, college football futures are out there, and they're coming. More of them.
$200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. $200. You can use anything for NBA Finals MVP and who's going to hit one out of the park. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and add to a big win of your summer bucket list. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, get over there. FanDuel.com/lockedon.
Right, 199 is here. It's the third segment. It's everybody's favorite. We got a little too much banter into the first segment. People did not like that. But the 199 is here. They love the banter. By the way, can you hear this dog? Like in my microphone, there's a dog outside, and it is just yelp. I mean, just in the last 2 times we have recorded, there has been this dog just chooses right now. It's like I see a squirrel of some ilk, and I'm gonna go after it. All right. We've had some difficult decisions so far, and we've arrived at the third segment. Are you going to change the rules on me midway through me answering your question this time, or are you just going to give me 3 names?
First of all, I don't answer anything before I do it. All right. Secondly, I reserve the right to do anything I want. This is our dang podcast, Daniel. Do we have rule? How good are we at following rules? I just ask you.
It's not. Ask the manager of a certain Chili's how good we are. What's the Atlanta area, the downtown Atlanta area Chili's scene? I'm asking for a friend because Georgia plays Clemson.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I think downtown Atlanta Chili's is going to be a little tougher scene for you and I to walk out of.
Justin B. tweeting, are you going to meet us downtown at the Chili's? Are we doing this thing or not?
What's our girl's name that broke up with Clemson dude?
Emily, you coming?
Emily, you coming? Because, by the way, great decision.
Great decision that you made, Emily. And get yourself ready. We're going back out to the Chili's. Also, if you're a prospective boyfriend of Emily, come on out to the Chili's. We'll set it up.
She's a great gal.
We'll set it up.
Fan?
Yeah, we'll set
matchmaker. Add matchmaker.
Don't be a Clemson fan. Don't be a Clemson fan, and you already have a leg up on the competition.
People love the banter. Okay.
It's the third segment. So everybody's favorite segment. One day we're going to do a show of nothing but third segments. That's my goal. That's my dream. I have a dream that we
used to. Many of you were in the YouTube comments talking about how a couple of episodes we've done recently reminiscent of the early days.
The early days. I remember when it was called something else.
Talking Dogs. And we're here for it. So yeah, that would be, when we get into the middle of July, just hold on to your butts.
Before fall camp opens up, those are the dark days. But right now, we got plenty to talk about. Let's get into it.
All right. I'm going to give you, we've touched on the defensive side. We've hit a couple of offensive positions. Dan.
Okay. Yeah, we have.
I'm going to go with the defensive side.
Okay.
And I'm not, I think for this one, you would agree with me that talent acquisition is huge for football.
We discussed it last episode. You want more better players. What people sometimes don't understand, just because one kid wasn't a 5-star and he turned out to be good doesn't mean you don't want 5 stars. That logic doesn't make any sense.
No.
You want more good players. So yeah, I agree.
But also the development of those players is really crucial and important as well.
Now, if only we had a coach that could do both.
Okay, well, we do.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna go to the coaching staff now, Daniel.
Oh no.
Start, bench, and cut.
Okay, can I ask a clarifying question before we start? What does it mean to bench a coach?
What it means to bench the coach is he is now an analyst. Right,
off the field role.
Off field role. Correct.
So Will Muschamp got benched.
Will Muschamp got benched. Yes, exactly.
He's a great example of someone who is riding the bench on the coaching staff. All right,
correct.
All right, I love it. It's our podcast. We make the rules.
So. We make the dang rules.
All right, let's do this.
Start, bench, and cut. First one up. Trey Scott, longtime coach.
Yeah,
huge in development as well as recruitment. One of the best secondary coaching hires that you could make in all of college football.
He doesn't coach the secondary. That's not what Clint meant. He meant a position coach.
Yes. Thank you. Not head coach. Thank you for that clarity. Number 2, Todd Hartley. Talk about talent acquisition, Daniel. He got any big names that he
anybody better in college football?
No.
At his position, no.
And then lastly, Daniel, I'm gonna hit the people because the comments want it. Mike Bobo, Todd Hartley, Trey Scott. One is no longer employed by UGA. One is now in an off-field role, and the last one is exactly wherever you want to put him on the coaching staff. Quite frankly.
This one is personal, feels personal to me because, and I'll tell you why. I think Trey Scott is the most underrated assistant coach in all of college football.
When I was making this, I thought Trey Scott for you. You love Trey Scott.
I do. I love him. And do you know why? Everything he's ever done for Georgia,
Literally.
year in and year out. Look at the body of work that this guy puts together. Look at what he turned Jordan Davis into. Look at how he got Jalen Carter on campus and to play for the University of Georgia. Look at the way that he develops. Look at the way, Devontae Wyatt, Clint. Look at what the man did for Devontae Wyatt. How many millions and millions of dollars that he has put in Devontae Wyatt's pockets.
Trayvon Walker, Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt, all first rounders.
Yeah.
Developed, made, created by Trey Scott.
Yeah. And I know you could argue Nolan Smith played right there on that defensive line with Trey Scott as well, even though that wasn't technically his position's kind of a Michael Williams situation. But the way he develops, the way he recruits, I think it's second to none. And then you're talking about Todd Hartley, who, again, he just literally owns his position. Look at 2025. We're talking about Georgia signs a 5-star inside linebacker in 2025. Well, they had another 5-star on the roster already. You know who he was? He was a tight end. Of course, he's a tight end. Number 1 tight end in America, already committed to Georgia for 2025. By the way, just a Darnell Washington freakazoid looking dude, Clint. I'm talking about you. Like, we need more time to discuss.
We do.
Todd Hartley is responsible for recruiting the best players to play at Georgia in the last 5 years. And then Mike Bobo, who runs the whole show. He runs the whole thing. And all he's ever done as an assistant at Georgia is produce the best offenses Georgia has ever seen.
Literally ever.
Okay.
Not
you hate him for it. And all he's done is that.
Okay. Done his job the best.
But he was a bad offensive coordinator at Auburn. Good. That's a feather in his cap, if you're asking me, honestly. He hurt Auburn. Say less about how awesome he is. He was a terrible head coach at Colorado. I don't care. I'm not asking him to be the head coach. So
no, I'm not.
It's difficult to me, and it's difficult to me because I'm cutting Todd Hartley. I'm letting him go. I'm letting him walk. I cannot cut Trey Scott.
No, that was never an option for you.
It wasn't ever going to happen. And I'm certainly not going to let Mike Bobo walk through that door. So I'm going to cut Trey Hartley. Now, let me ask you a clarifying question. And listen, the recruiting is going to hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm going to trust that the overall strength of the program recruiting is going to pay the dividends that we need. Jimmy C, I think, you bring like that hire hopefully is going to alleviate some of the receiving threat recruiting, options that Georgia has. And so I'm going to let Todd Hartley walk. I hate it, but I'm going to do it. And clarifying question. Okay. Does Georgia have to promote from within to backfill the position that I'm going to bench, or can they make an outside hire?
I will allow you to make an outside hire.
And Kirby gets to go after whoever he wants.
Correct. Okay. Kirby is choosing.
Then I'm going to put Mike Bobo in an analyst role.
Yeah, he's benching.
Because Mike Bobo will thrive in an analyst role, and he will absolutely crush it for the University of Georgia. So Kirby Smart goes out. He gets a coordinator that he wants. We've trusted Kirby Smart to hire coordinators before, and it's worked out pretty good in the last few, hasn't it, Georgia fans?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to let him do it again. I'm going to let Mike Bobo be the analyst. I'm going to leave Trey Scott on the field where he belongs, because honestly, Trey Scott as an analyst is useless to me.
Useless.
I need that man on the field with a whistle in his mouth, coaching up these young men. And so I'm going to put Mike Bobo on the bench. I'm going to hire an outside hire, and I'm going to hope to replicate the 2022 national championship team where Mike Bobo was an analyst and was calling plays in the national championship game, drawing them up and just sliding them over on the desk and saying, you might want to consider running this one. And it worked out pretty well. So that's where I'm going to go on that.
This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We will see you all next time. See ya.
See ya.